thingy, because if there's one thing I know about technology, is that it can never be trusted. So I'm going to drop the link to this live stream where it's supposed to go, and then we'll get her going. All right, so I'm going to drop the link into this thing. I'm going to go into the other stream. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, we're almost ready. Oh man, you can always rely on things not working, can't you? It's such a pain. Such a pain. All right. That's right, Sacred Heart of Jesus. Okay, well, we are live, and the original stream link just simply did not work. Don't ask me why, but it's okay. Here we are. We're gonna have to get that sorted out next time. I'm gonna wait for some people to filter in before I get to any of those requests. So let's start off with a little bit of well, first of all, I gotta say, good, you're still there. Never quite what you would like it to be. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. All right. Hello, I'm from the USA. I'm from Martha's Vineyard. It's a fun place to be from, I'll tell you that. My father's from Ireland. My mama's from Boston. And I'm a musician and I'm a minister, and I'm going to play some music for you. Oh, Arseny, yes, I'm from Russia. I'm from Russia. You're from Russia. Hallelujah. Now, guys, I have no idea what happened with my technology, but look me up for the tips and all that. It's realseanmcmahon.com. In the twilight glow I see her, blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kissed goodnight and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. Love is like a dying ember, only memories remain. Through the ages I'll remember blue eyes crying in the rain. Someday when we meet up yonder, we'll stroll hand in hand again, through a land that knows no pardon. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Blue eyes crying in the rain. Blue eyes crying in the rain. That's some Willie Nelson for you. I'm going to move some things around. So when I started off this live stream, I had a link all set that went out on my mailing list. And of course, once I tried to get into it, I was locked out. So I got to drop some information in for you guys. But how you doing? Hey, Athen. Thanks for joining me. Jean P, how you doing? And hey, John P, let me know. Did the link to this stream get properly dropped into the comments of the original link? Because I had some technical difficulties over there. I'm going to see if I can drop... yeah, I'm going to see if I can drop some of the information that I wanted to have in the description into this stream. Dude, technical difficulties left and right. It's my life. You would think that I'd know how to do this by now after the pandemic, but the thing is, I did live streaming in the pandemic. I didn't like it. It's not because I didn't like live streaming, it's because I didn't like the pandemic. Yeah, very good. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm almost there, guys. Thanks for your patience. I'm just getting the links to drop in here, to put this here where it needs to go. And then let's drop in a little bit of the link tree so you can learn a little bit more about me. Sean McMahon presents How to Do a Live Stream for Total Idiot Beginners. All right, so thanks, Amy. Let me know if you have any requests, and if I don't know a song, you can also just give me a vibe, and I'll try to match the vibe. All right, so I dropped like my tip information, how to tip me, into the description. I'm not going to say that that's like not one of the big reasons that I'm doing this. I'm about to become a father for the third time. My wife got that very mysterious burst of energy after being tired. You know, she's basically 9 months. She's been super tired, and today she had a burst of energy, and she wanted to nest and put the new car seat into the van. And I'm like, oh my God, just let me know when your water breaks, because it could be any minute now. He's not due for like another couple weeks, our infant, but I've seen my wife about to give birth 2 other times, and it could be any day. Hey guys, how you doing? Hey Uncle June, how you doing? Han Mustaine, what's up? Brazil, obrigado for being here. All right, I got a new song I'd like to share with you. This is called The Year of the Jubilee, and I wrote it relatively recently, hence it's new. And let me know what you think. I played it in church the other day. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Pope Francis said it's the year of the Jubilee. I pray for St. Francis, by the Pope Francis. I got to learn to talk. This is the year of the Jubilee. This is no drill, this is the real thing. This is our return to sanity, the triumph of truth and meaning. Francesco said so at the Holy See. This is the year of the back all our property, when we rebuild our families and restore the bonds of fraternity with justice and charity. This is the year of the Jubilee. Of the Jubilee, the deaf will hear and the blind will see, the lame will walk, the dumb will speak, and when you knock you'll find what you seek. If you're in debt you'll be released. This is the year of the Jubilee. This is the year of the Jubilee, when the mountains arise from the sea, when fire devours our enemies, to purge hatred with mercy, the condemned will be redeemed. In the year of the Jubilee, this is a year of the Jubilee, the least will be crowned in chief. Our despair will turn to belief. Out of darkness let light be. The dead will rise and take back the streets. This is the year of the Jubilee. This is the year of the Jubilee. This is a year of the Jubilee. This is a year of the Jubilee. That's the year of the Jubilee. Thank you very much. And that's right, Sam O. The Jubilee is when all debts are canceled every 7th year or every 50th year. In the Old Testament in Israel, they would forgive all the debts. And that was possible in a tribal culture where each tribe had its allotment of property. So you had a family tribal inheritance of where you would live. In the book of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, it talks about all the tribes had their land parceled out in the days of Joshua. And I once had a rabbi, I said, you know, when the Messiah comes, because I wasn't Christian yet, I said, when Messiah comes, how will we know which part of the land in the Middle East is ours? And he was a very straight shooter. He said we won't. All that information's gone. We don't even know what tribe we're in anymore. So I'm like, well, what's gonna happen? He's like, what? You think you're just gonna get free land in the Holy Land, dude? He like basically called me a commie, which I was at the time. So that's all to say. I mean, I just did an interview with this fella Luke McGinnis for the What's the Point Anyway podcast. It's going to come out on Friday, and he asked me, you know, like, what's your perspective, having been brought up kind of secular Jewish, you know, half Christian, but you know, no religion, and you start exploring Judaism, and then you come out the other end a Christian. You know, what's your take on the experience studying Judaism? And I said, well, it's a lovely religion, but you know, one thing that happens if you don't have a Messiah yet, like you do, you know, in Christianity, the Messiah already came. So if you don't have a Messiah yet, well, there's a possibility that you might be him if you do the right things. So if you get that parcel of land and you become the king, then you're the Messiah. So, you know, we all had messianic complexes, and then I shed it when I realized that Jesus was the Messiah, and he proclaimed the year of the Jubilee to tie that all back around. When he goes to the synagogue in his hometown, or Capernaum actually, He proclaims the year of the Jubilee from the Isaiah text, to proclaim the year of the Lord's good favor. So that is what the year of the Jubilee is. And the Pope said that it's the year of the Jubilee this year. They proclaim Jubilees every so often. So it's a year of pilgrimage. And that's a little bit about life. Washed in the blood of the Lamb. I could do a hymn if you want. Let me find some hymns. Maybe, oh, you know what I like? I like How Great Thou Art. Let me pull up those words. And how are you? Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. How great thou art, how great thou art. Sure, John B. I'll do Servant Song. Servant Song is a song I wrote when I was probably like 18 or 19. And I was a young seeker looking for truth. I was a student at New England Conservatory, so I was in Boston. And I befriended a very, very talented musician named Eldon Kelly. You should look him up, Eldon Kelly. and he did a concert one night in Jordan Hall in the Keller Room with a drummer. I can't remember who the drummer was. May have been Pete Moffat and Ben Davis. Ben Davis has gone on to be, a very well beloved songwriter. Works a lot with Bridget Carney from Lake Street Dive. Ben was on bass that night. Eldon Kelly was leading the band on a nylon string guitar, much like this, and he was singing these beautiful words about God. And he was the only one I'd ever heard sing beautiful words about God in college, because people in New England don't really sing about God, especially in college. um, and I asked him what the song was, and he'd written it, and it was a song taken from the words of Baha'u'llah, the prophet of the Baha'i faith. And so, we became spiritual friends, and he took me a couple times to the Baha'i Center. I think it was in Roxbury. And very lovely people, and very great food, Persian food, and a very nice, beautiful spiritual poetic tradition in the Baha'i faith. And it fed me during that time, because I wasn't ready to plunge into the Jesus trip. And the Baha'i, believe in Jesus. It's basically like a reformed Islamic tradition. So the Baha'i faith was very nice at the time, but I was still searching, and I still hadn't found what I was looking for, and I was still reading the Bible and the prophets, and the outlines of a figure were sort of being foreshadowed to me as I was reading through the prophets of the Torah. And around that time, I was beginning to suspect, albeit quite begrudgingly and reluctantly, that figure was most likely Jesus Christ. But I wasn't ready to admit it. But nonetheless, I had a certain amount of conviction. So when Eldon invited me to sing at a special event at the Baha'i Center, I believe it was the birth of the Bab holiday, which is a prophet of theirs, I wrote this song for this event. And it sort of expressed my yearning for Christ before I was ready to name him. And it's called Servant Song, after the servant song of Isaiah. I want you to be humble. Humble is my crown. I want you to be silent. I will fill you with a sound. If you ever feel troubled, remember you are poor. If you ever feel forgotten, find me in the world. Serve them, serve your Lord. What do I ask? What do I need? What do you need? What do you want that I've not yet given me? Where is your hope if your hope is not in me? I want you to know glory, hero is your name. I want you to know joys, endless through your pain. Have you not any courage to look I give and leave all of that which is mine. Serve your Lord. What do I ask? What do I need? What do you need? What do you want that I've not yet given thee? Where is your hope if your hope is not in me? Hear my call, brothers, sisters, all. Patience for just as its seasons bounties fall, all will change and pass. But I've heard your signs and seen your suffering with my own eyes, but you can't see me. Now's your time. I gave you that when I gave you your mind. Turn your thoughts toward me. Oh, serve and serve your Lord. Serve and serve your Lord. Serve and serve your Lord. Serve and serve and oh, serve your Lord. What do I ask? What do I need? What do you need? What do you want that I've not yet given thee? Where is your hope if your hope is not in me? Where is your hope if your hope is not in me? That goes out to Jean P. That was a song called Servant Song. It's I think it's online. I'll drop the link in the comments. Let me see. Servant Song, there it is. It's on Original Christian Songs Volume 1. Let me drop that into the chat for you there. All right, here it comes. Man, it's been a while since I've done this live streaming thing. So earlier I was trying to like set the stream up ahead of time, so it'd be scheduled, and then I couldn't like get into the stream that I set up ahead of time. It's funny how that happens. I'd like to share a new-ish song. It's been released, but this one goes out to Ron Jackson if he's in here. Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. If you like the guitar parts, you're gonna like this one. This one's probably one of the hardest guitar parts I've ever written. For those, I'm doing something. I'm gonna set up a little drum part with my looper. This is called Loopy Pro. It's a great app. Check this out. It's a fully customizable thing, and you can like add little. You know, you can loop it if you want. You can do lots of fun stuff. What I'm going to do actually is just set up a very simple drum beat. Let's set it to around. I think that's the tempo. I'm going to change the drum sound to an 808. And that's my drum beat. So this song's called Small Town Incorporated. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's Small Town Incorporated. I laugh because in that song, I sing about a lot of stuff. I say it's long past due for a jubilee. I guess I've been writing about the jubilee a lot. Maybe it's Pope Francis is like subliminally in my head. Pray for him, by the way. You know, he's not feeling well right now. I always think it's funny because when I play that song in front of a big crowd, such as now, I always ask, do you know which TV character is being referenced in that song? Ned Flanders is. Covertly, because I say my neighbor Ned's just signed his name on a digital document. Yeah, that song is about something that's been going on all over America, all over the world, for years, decades, which is just big companies. At the end of the day, getting contracted by their town governments, city governments to come in and do some work that a lot of people kind of want done, but then people find themselves slowly losing ownership over their small town, and next thing they know, it's small town incorporated. I live in a tourist area, so we're very sensitive to that, us locals. So I might be a little more loose-lipped about it. It does tend to touch on some sensitive things, but we host a lot of people, and when you're generous with your homeland, and you're big on letting people visit, hosting them, and hospitality is a big industry, then you learn a lot about your boundaries, and there are certain things you're willing to do to go all the way to fulfill, like the vocation of hospitality. You want to have a beautiful place, and you want it to be a sustainable place that can sustain your visitors and your guests and all that. But there a little bit of preservation, conservation comes into play. So we deal with that a lot in Martha's Vineyard. Small towns in general kind of deal with that, but especially if you're like landlocked or ocean locked, right? So that song talks about that, a topic that I've discussed a lot on this channel, which is the Catholic social teaching around economics and subsidiarity. Hilaire Belloc, G.K. Chesterton, they talk a lot about distributism. It's the communist dream, except it's voluntary and it's private property that's widely distributed. So that's what distributism is. It's the philosophy that property is as widely distributed as possible amongst private owners, particularly families. Again, going back to that Jubilee idea, one of the reasons that Israel could never celebrate a Jubilee in the biblical accounts, like in the Bible, is because they always sold out. That's what the story is. One of the political recurring themes in the Bible is the people of God selling themselves out to the highest bidder, and getting a cheap buck, cheap laughs, high cost, and who am I to say, I've done it myself. I've been in rock and roll. I know all about cheap laughs, but I've walked away from it, and I hope we can all walk away from it. And a Jubilee is an act of grace if we can get one. So, let's all do what we can this coming Lent to cast off that extra weight, and maybe find some more meaningful laughs than cheap ones, right? Williamsburg Bridge, speaking of guitar parts. Now, if you guys are enjoying this music, y'all, I do have tip information in the description. You can hit me up on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. You can also look up my music on Bandcamp and download any of these originals. This next one is called Williamsburg Bridge. It's on my record, The Lamb and the Wolf. What are you looking for out there? For the ground swell beneath your feet. I wish I knew just what you're thinking, yeah. 'Cause I don't know what you said. What did you mean? you said to me that time, leave you together, a sacred view from a man-made bridge over winter sea, as it flowed through the veins of a city. What are you looking for out there in the starry heart of our two dreams, of our two dreams we dreamed? The wind was kissing both our lips as we held hands, so distant, so precarious, heads in the clouds for a while. We passed with a gray sky overcast, and the people with envy passed us by, from island to island, from side to side. Did bow toward Williamsburg with a furrowed brow, and the dreams of two lovers nearby get over as a song somehow, and it scratched its head. A fleeting word that's gone silent now, 'cause it wanted with sweet intent to conceive and give birth without knowing how. What were you praying for last night? When the chains came off of your wrist in your bed, I dreamt we crossed that dark frontier of a head, and I love you so. I held your hand, and we went ahead. Thanks, y'all. That's Williamsburg Bridge. I wrote that years ago. I mean, over 10 years ago now. It's probably like 15 years old. I was walking across Williamsburg Bridge between Brooklyn and Manhattan with an ex-girlfriend, and we were thinking about moving to New York together. And I'd always resisted the idea of moving to New York City. Um, but something about that moment, I like really fell in love with it. It's a gorgeous bridge to be on, and you see the city in the distance. There's a winter sight to behold, and this feeling of loneliness and sadness came over me because I just saw the future, and I knew that this young lady that I was on this bridge, uh, taking in this sight with, I knew I'd be moving there, and I just suddenly knew that she would not be, even though she was the one who always pushed that idea. And that's how it happened. I think I moved there later that year, and I wanted her to come. She visited me a few times. I don't know. She just lost the gas. Um, didn't work out, as they say. I probably didn't contribute much to help her create a case. I was a bit of a starving artist type. Didn't have the most to offer in terms of stability, but that's how I ended up in the subways, buskin', which calls to mind Mr. Charlie Crockett, one of my favorite modern country guys, Charlie Crockett. I met him down there. He used to busk at the Metropolitan G Stop in Brooklyn, and I used to busk there all the time. One of my first times busking, I was playing. The reason we chose that stop is because it's got a 10 to 13 minute gap between trains, which means you kind of can monopolize people's attention with 2 to 3 songs, depending on how long the song is. I had a 10-minute song, so there was that. But one day, kind of slower. Maybe I started too early. Maybe I started too late. I can't remember. But there was a fellow who was just sitting there, and the trains would come, but he'd keep sitting there. And I saw he had a guitar, and I was like, man, this guy's really vibing on my music. He's a musician. He must be taking in my songs, taking in my singing, taking in my guitar player, my guitar playing. Man, this guy must really be like vibing with me. And I played really well because I thought that. And then after a while, he says, "Excuse me, sir." And I said, "Yes." And he's like, "I noticed that you've been here for like over 2 hours. There's sort of an unwritten rule that you can't bogart a busking spot for over 2 hours. So I suggest you move along. I'm a busker too. My name's Charlie, Charlie Crockett, and I'd love to play here. You sound great, but can I take my turn now?" And he was a very pleasant fellow, and he told me that he'd just come from Second Ave F stop, which is in the Lower East Side. So he's like, if you get there soon enough, if you leave quick enough, and let me take this spot, you might be able to get my old spot, which I did. And I think that was one of the first times I played the Second Ave stop. So I'm going to play one of his tunes. If you're looking for her, she might be in Santa Fe, forgetting about me and changing her last name. I should have seen it coming, but fools like me never do. Heads you win, tails I lose. If I'm being honest, this really ain't her fault, 'cause I've been out on the corner, spilling memories in the hall. But I'll go on pretending like it's right out of the blue. Heads you win, tails I lose. Right out of the blue. Heads you win, tails I lose. However long I travel, I seem to be pursued by living apparition of a girl with cowboy boots. My heart can hardly stand it, my mind becomes unglued as you win tales I know. Nothing I can do, it's you win tales I know. That's a song by Charlie Crockett. Hey guys, I'm Sean McMahon. Thanks for tuning in. I can't see like who is here if I click on it. Yeah, but I appreciate that you're here. I see a handful of you at a time. That's encouraging. Give me that feedback so I know that you're alive and that I'm alive. A lot going on. I'm getting a lot of texts at the same time. There's like a family discussion going on in the background in my text messages about politics and the role of the state in the arts and whether or not King John and the Sheriff of Nottingham have a right to decide for themselves what they do with our money, or whether the people do, and whether Robin Hood is necessary to get it back, etc. All for You, a song for the coming new baby. All right. Well, I wrote this song shortly after my first child was born, and I was very tired, and some of my close friends slash like friends so close that they kind of like give you the most hell laughed at the line where I talk about working so hard, but I quantify that work by saying how the guitar strings wear my fingers to the bone, as if that's a lot of work. I assure you all, this is a lot of work. When you play as much as I do, I can't believe it looking back, I was a new father playing like 3 or 4 gigs a day, 2 hours at a time in the summer heat. Yeah, man, your fingers hurt. That's physically exhausting stuff. You're lugging gear. At the time, I had like 2 guitars, my amplifier, backup amp would come in and out of the car. You'd set up the PA. It's a lot of work. So you bust my balls over a line about your fingers hurting because I'm playing so much guitar, and that constitutes hard work. Well, let's just say I'm being very modest about how much work I was doing on top of not sleeping, which I look forward to not doing again. Once again, I will not be sleeping, because any day now we're going to have baby number 3. Hence, I'm online. I want to get back online, do these live streams, because I realize, I'm not going to be doing a lot of traveling once we have this infant. So, you guys keep sending me your requests. I'm happy to do my tunes. I'm happy to do hymns. I'm happy to do some covers if I know them. This one goes out to Jean P. This is called All For You. Working hard has never been my style, but lately I've been working harder than I've worked in a while. Going hard, going the extra mile. These guitar strings wear my fingers to the bone. I do all day and night makes my muscles moan. But in my toil I'm never alone. Oh, oh, oh. Because your love makes me strong, gives me strength to go on. So break my back, stretch me thin, I'd gladly do it all over again just to end my days with you. So come on and crack your whip till I sweat blood and my tears cry out to heaven above, and the dead and all for love of you. All for you. It ain't hard for me to keep my spirit up, since I've got an overflowing in this here loving cup. And if I should ever thirst, I've got enough. 'Cause your love is my wine, and it soothes my mind. So break my back, stretch me thin, I'd gladly do it all over again just to end my day with you. So come on and crack your whip till I sweat blood and my tears cry out to heaven above, and the dead and all for love of you. All for you. The song's called All For You. That goes out to John P. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Can you play some Johnny Cash? Han Mustang. Yeah, I know some Johnny Cash. I know some Johnny Cash. I know some of the classic Johnny Cash. Thanks for joining me, guys. My name's Sean McMahon. If you haven't heard of me already, because some of you, I don't know if I know all your screen names, but you must have stumbled in off of the internets. I got tip jars in the description. And tip jar won't get you a song, but it might get you priority, as they say. Fiery ring, I'm out my wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flame went higher. And it burns, 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 that ring of fire, that ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flame went higher. And it burns, 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 in a ring of fire, in a ring of fire. La da 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 da, da 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 da. Love is sweet and hearts like ours need. I fell for you, baby, like a child. Oh, oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flame went higher. And it burns, 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 that ring of fire, the ring of fire. Oh, Johnny! Oh, folks, I love Johnny Cash. And while I don't know the most Johnny Cash music, what I love the most about him is that he is the iconic. Thanks, Chrissy. In my mind, he is the iconic rock and roll country superstar meets preacher. And I know Elvis was like this too, and obviously Al Green is like this. But there's just something special about how Johnny did it. I suspect he appealed to me so much because of how he ended up doing so much work with June Carter and how they did so many hymns. You guys are not blessed enough at the moment to be watching me singing with my wife right now because she's too pregnant to be singing with me. But man, her talent is phenomenal. And that to me like ticks off the box of my fantasy of being Johnny to someone's June. She's my June. But yeah, man, Johnny Cash just was unapologetic with his Christian faith. And I wonder, I wonder if times were so different back then, if he didn't get as much crap for that as, for instance, like I have. Then again, he was from the South. I'm not. I'm from the North, so I don't know, different culture. I've had a chip on my shoulder about my faith for a long time. Maybe it's because I was like in the indie scene in New York or something. But man, everyone would just tell me like, this would be a great song if you just kind of like leave out the reference to Jesus, or maybe your branding would be better if you didn't mention going to church or like your weird Jesus stuff. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. Some of the most iconic musicians in America are total Jesus freaks. It's like, I might just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it may have just definitely been the wrong place. Because one thing I know for sure, a couple summers ago, I played at a Christian festival. That's right, Little Dark Age. MGMT song, too. Played a Christian festival called River Rock up in Maine. And like it blew my mind to meet so many Christians in one place because I wasn't brought up Christian. So, I came to it in my 20s in Massachusetts. So like, I just didn't realize there were so many Christians around. That's right, Tina Turner. Yeah. So going to a festival and being surrounded by Christians and like there's so much in common was just so mind-boggling to me. And I met some Christian musicians who tour, and what they told me just did not compute. I was like, so how'd your band get together? They said, oh, we're the church band. We're down in like Tennessee, we're down in Florida, we're down in Texas. I was like, oh, cool. Like I do church ministry. Like, what's it like? I'm like, well, we do one of the services, and I'm like, oh, like one of the services, how many services do you do? They're like, oh, like some of them have like 6 services a day on a Sunday. And then they tell me how many people go to their church. They're like, it's a pretty small church of about 500. I said, small church is 500 people in the Bible Belt? I said, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I used to play in a band, with 5,000 people per Sunday. I'm like, what are you talking about? So, no, I've never played a dulcimer, Sam, but I've played the dummy plenty of times, the dunce. Um, where was me? Oh yeah, so yeah, Christian culture. I mean, it's huge in America, obviously, but there's not a lot of it where I am, so I'm still always shocked when I encounter it, and that's all to say. I love Johnny Cash, and I've tried to kind of walk in his footsteps, because I probably should have been sent to prison a couple times. Which is funny. There's a song my wife and I used to do about that very topic. Daddy got a DUI, Mama went to jail. But I always resonated with how Johnny Cash presented himself as just a fellow fuck up. Forgive my French. Preaching the blood of Christ to fellow sinners in need. Right. That's where I come from. Let's do a song along those lines. There's a song, I haven't played this for a long time. I wrote it when I was in Brooklyn, and it's called In, and it's straight up about preaching the good word. When he played in prison, that was cool. Yeah, Johnny Cash live at Folsom Prison, something else. I love that. All right, so this song is called In. out martyrs in the bosom of the Father. Dorothy Day and all them everyday saints who lay down their lives for beloved wives, working shitty jobs for old class rights that we shouldn't have to buy. Wonder why we even shy when we know we'll die, know we'll die. Surely dying we will die, but I bet we live. Watching it go from your place behind the door through the peephole. And you know your spirit's thirsty, but you don't know the road. How the hell you gonna fetch water when you can't find the hole? Oh God, I think you might just have to let it in. Oh Father, who art in heaven, redeem your name. We are praying for our souls, we are not playing no game. We are not the kind of people who can go without help. Oh Father, I know you love us, you can't help yourself. Oh God, I think we might just have to let you in. And that's in. That's the type of song I was writing in 2015. Yo, there's some crazy stories behind that song. 2015 was my last full year living in Brooklyn, and I made friends with a fantastic musician named Jared Samuel, and he played keyboard in Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger, which was Sean Lennon's band. And so I got to float in that orbit for a little bit, and we got to open for Sean. And I talked to Sean, I think, when we drank a lot, but I got to talk to Sean a little bit about that song. Because in the bridge, I talk about the murder of his father, John Lennon. The first line is, so what if Martin Luther King was killed by the state? I bet he lives. So what if John Winston Lennon's assassination was CIA? I bet he lives. Um, and it talks about what if El Hajj Malik al-Shabazz was put down by Hoover's FBI? I bet he lives. So El Hajj Malik al-Shabazz was the Muslim name that Malcolm X took on. So there I was in 2015, an anarcho-communist at the time, spitting rhymes about like the deep state before we knew what the deep state was in the Trump era. And yeah, like Sean seemed to think, I can't quote him, but he seemed to think that something like that did happen to his father. What if John Winston Lennon's assassination was CIA? I bet he lives. I think he affirmed that was his suspicion. It's creepy stuff to talk about. If you don't see me live stream again, then pray for my family. But yeah, Abraham Lincoln was in the CIA. I don't know if you're joking. If that is like how deep your deep state stuff is gonna go, you're gonna have to tell me about that. I've never heard that Abraham Lincoln was in the CIA. I wasn't aware that it existed back then. But hey, maybe it did in some prototypical form. Um, guys, I'm a professional musician. I'll probably live stream from my gig tomorrow at the News Pub Restaurant and play some of my tunes from there. But tonight I'm just hanging out in my basement, and I'm curious who you guys all are. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna write it down. But tell me how you found this live stream and this channel. I'm very curious. Hey, drop in the comments how you found this live stream, etc. um, yeah, on this channel, I do a lot of like theological Bible studies that you can see in the videos. But I also do a song a week project. I've been releasing a brand new song every week for like 3 or 4 months, fully produced. I reckon I'm going to be slowing down once this baby comes any day now, baby number 3. But I'm going to find a way to keep it going in some form. I have a Substack, so if you go to realseanmcmahon.com, check out the newsletter. If you sign up for that, I think what I'm going to do, newsflash, I think what I'm going to do is fold my weekly song project into the paid tier of the Substack. Y'all, frankly, I don't always have the time to do a fully produced song every Friday because I'm a father. I'm also homeschooling. My wife is a homeschool mom, but I'm taking over a lot of those duties because she's super pregnant and needs a little rest. So what I think I'm going to do is, I always write songs anyway. I'm going to keep recording them like voice demo style, or make little videos, and I'll fold them into the Substack. So if you want to sign up, it's $70 a year, which sounds like a big number to some, until you realize that that works out to like $1.50 a song a week. That's less than a coffee. Some of you probably pay like $7 for coffee, I bet. Thank you. Congratulations on your new baby, says Sam. Thank you. Han Mustaine says, YouTube recommended. Nice. Chrissy Kinsman said, you invited me on Substack. Hey, that's nice, Chrissy, because I thought I was having weird technical difficulties. I thought that the link wasn't working. I haven't live streamed basically since COVID, so some of this is coming back to me slowly. Chrissy Kinsman says, I like to study craft and artists and how they study their craft. It's important. Yeah, it is. So I'm big on organization and routine at this point. When I was like a younger artist, I would just like sweat, bleed, and like nose snot rocket songs all the time. Probably like 2 or 3 songs a day. But I was a starving artist, and it was kind of like a vow of poverty. I lived like in a $500 like bedroom, bare bones, in a warehouse where you took a bath in the sink. So I didn't mind living that way in my 20s, and it was kind of like an ascetic discipline to devote myself to craft, albeit obviously like a bunch of dirtbags my age. I also like went out and spent the rest of the little money I had on beer and wondered why I was so broke all the time because I was getting hammered with my friends. So, one of the reasons I left New York City in my like mid-late 20s was because it didn't seem sustainable to be in that environment when I wanted to be a songwriter, and it was difficult to get paid as a songwriter in the New York gig system outside of busking, which I was doing. But I had started to experience some of like the indie music industry. I was a touring member of Streets of Laredo, and I started to learn all the ins and outs of that game, the way it worked back then. Like get your song, on Spotify, get it to a blog, because blogs mattered back then. And Dave Gibson from that band, the drummer in that band, he's in Elemental P for any of you Australians and New Zealanders. He mentored me in how to do this stuff, and I started releasing music as workman's song. And I found out very quickly it's a very expensive business to get into, like to try to promote yourself, to try to get yourself on platforms and to record yourself. So I made a big no, I haven't tried streaming on Twitch yet, but I've learned about it. I'm learning about it right now, Sam. I'll look into it. Do you recommend it? Is it frankly lucrative for a man, father of 3? Because I'll get into it if so. Music is how I subsidize my ministry. But yeah, I left New York City because I realized if I can't afford to live, I definitely can't afford to like hire out a studio. And I also started realizing I wasn't that interested in working with other studios, and I wanted to be a producer. So I decided to move to a more affordable place. I wanted to go back to Western Mass, where I grew up, like my roots. And I wanted to like start teaching myself production and all that stuff. And I ended up on Martha's Vineyard, where I got into the tourism music circuit. So I played a lot of dive bars, and that's how I found out I could make a living full time as a musician. Um, but trying to get yourself recognized for your songwriting, I mean, it's like a uphill battle. I haven't perfected it, but what I've been doing right now is this song a week project. It's creating lots of engagement, but it's a little unsustainable. So I think I'm gonna fold it into my subscription on Substack, the paid tier, so that people who like really want to hear this music can get it. And I have a whole other spiel to go on about Spotify. Maybe I'll rant about Spotify and the streamers after this song. I'll play a song for you guys and then maybe rant about Spotify, just so you guys get some music. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I have a band. I have a drummer and a bass player, and I'd love to get them on the live stream. Watch this space because I want to figure out how to get quality audio into this thing. But yeah, I got lots of band videos in my channel, so explore my channel too. Let's check out. Give me a theme. Banjo. Yeah, Chrissy, I'm learning about Substack in real time. Like I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I'm leaping into things before I fully understand them nowadays, and just improvising, going with the flow, because it's really hard to get anything moving if you don't just go for it, right? So let me know what you learn about Substack. It's like you're my only Substack friend that I know. Um, oh, here's a nice one. I really like this song. This is called Grass is Green. I'm going to get my 4 on the floor beat going for this one. It'll be cool. In this world of fading glory, we all need a meaningful story. No ordinary moral tale, but something far beyond the pale. 'Cause this light ain't going nowhere. This race ain't rigged to be fair. The valley of shadows is wide, the peaks of Jordan far between. Life is death, grass is green. It's too new because I don't remember the next verse. In this strange and winding world, babies are born to boys and girls. Somehow, somewhere, someday they'll wed their ways. They'll plant their seeds and there they'll stay. Power to move these mountains. So one dig his grave or the well for the fountain. The last is first, the snow is fast, and nothing's what it seems. Life is dead, grass is green.